Not connected. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, May 28th. It is 4:12 p.m. and I'm calling the Board of Estimate and Contract meeting into order. Clerk Walters, you can proceed with the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Controller Martin, Acting President Brown,
Here.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Here,
Thank you. You have a quorum.
thank you. You can proceed with the,
Okay, under resolutions approving ordinances, item number 1, Recreation Department. An ordinance authorizing the Recreation Department to sponsor the Summer Breeze Outdoor Concert Series.
can we take some of these together? There's a lot of recreation co-sponsorships.
Well, there's a problem. So I guess there's a problem with the money in these lines because they were asking for more than what's in the line. This first one is okay, right?
Mhm.
Okay, but then the second one is not.
Can we,
All right, so we can move with the first.
over the first one?
Let's go with the first one.
Uh-huh.
Just proceed with the agenda as regular then.
Okay. All right, so I'll repeat item number 1. Item number 1, under resolutions approving ordinances, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the Recreation Department to sponsor the Summer Breeze Outdoor Concert Series.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 2, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor City Fest, which is a Business, Food, and Culture Expo 2024 with the Friends of Mount Vernon Arts, Recreation, and Youth Programs, Inc.
Okay,
So
so I don't. Second.
On the question?
All right, so the problem is they don't have enough money in the line for what they're asking to basically be encumbered,
Okay.
right? So I think this is probably going to come back, so we probably just gonna have to, I guess, deny it now.
We
Okay.
can't hold it until the next meeting?
We could, but again, it's gonna have, right, it needs to come back to you to be amended. Back to the council, because they've spent money in the line. The line only has 30,000. And they've already spent money in the line.
So is it just to transfer money into the line?
The ordinance itself is not correct.
Okay,
It
okay,
doesn't have, it says it has an amount that you don't have it in it. You can't approve it for that amount. And I guess, the assistant comptroller had a conversation with the commissioner about it, and she said, well, it's not gonna cost that much, but if it's not gonna cost that much, then you
Then
can't.
don't
Put that
project,
amount in
right.
there to approve.
Don't just project high and hope for low.
Right,
Okay,
so we can pull it for it to come back, amend it, I guess. It's up to you. Correct.
we have to do the same for number 3.
No, the other ones. The other one would be fine because, well, again, here's the other thing too, right? So the number 4 has the same budget line. So we can prove number 4. Right?
Okay.
But then the other one has to come back.
Well, the City Fest is a much bigger thing. Take more, they're gonna have
Right.
to be clearer on where those resources are coming from. Okay. So we'll pull 2.
okay. So item number 2 is being held.
So now to the mayor's point, we're pulling that one, that's fine.
Okay,
So then the mayor's point, we can combine the others that are co-sponsored, right?
3, 4,
Which is 3,
7,
4. Right?
5, 6, 7.
No, it's not 5, it's 347.
347.
Okay. All right,
I move to
so
take,
we're gonna move
oh, go ahead.
Okay. one second, acting president. All right, so on the record, just for the record, we're holding item number 2.
Right.
And acting president now will move to take items.
I move to take item 347 as a block vote.
Okay.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Okay, Controller Morton. Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay, and this was to take items 3, 4, and 7 as a block vote. Okay, item number 3, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the Recreation and Police Departments to co-sponsor Rolling into Peace in Hartley Park on June 16, 2024. Item number 4, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the Recreation Department to sponsor the Summer Outdoor Movie Series. Item number 7, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the Recreation Department to co-sponsor the Youssef Shah Islamic Center's 2nd annual Juneteenth flag raising celebration.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, moving on, we're going back to now item number 5, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept a $75,000 award from the African American Mayors Association.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? This is a 1-year award, grant award. We placed, the city of Mount Vernon put in an application through the African American Mayors Association and the American Beverage Association. And we received first prize for the small cities competitive grant application. And this $75,000 will go towards providing support through the Department of Recreation's, healthy food initiative. So we give out fresh fruits and vegetables at the Dole Center to our seniors, to our families, the home delivered meals. It'll, help with the purchase of some capital equipment and some staffing. So wanted to say thank you to Director Sean Paul Wade for working with his team to write and submit this application. And, you got to be in it to win it. So thank you to the African American Mayors Association and the American Beverage Association. All right, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 6, Recreation Department, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the National Recreation and Parks Association and accept a grant of $70,000.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Grants are always good. Here's another one. Roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. All right, moving on to item number 8, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with graphic artist Jason W. Pritchett for the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau's Animation Summer Academy.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay, item number 9, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing 3 Mount Vernon Youth Bureau staff, including the executive director, to attend an annual Healthy Marriage Responsible Fatherhood biannual conference from July 15th through the 18th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
So just clarity.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because these questions come up about these conferences.
Mhm.
This particular conference with the Youth Bureau is also being paid for through grant funds that are part of the actual grants budget, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. so
I was
we-
gonna
yeah,
expand
so
on
we can
because-
try to explain that.
Well, it's not even about explaining it. You know, I appreciate people's concern and them following things. What we have not done in the city of Mount Vernon in a long time is invest in staff development. And so when you look at the building department, when you look at the police department, when you look at planning, every single department in this city, we really weren't sending staff out to get training. So there's some trainings that we send staff out to, and we have a training budget, right? Because any organization should provide training to their staff to make sure that we're staying up to date. And then there are other things like this where we have a grant. And this grant right here is a 5-year grant. I think we get this is like a $7.5 million grant that I think we're getting over a 5-year period. And it's all about families and healthy relationships. And when you look at the Surgeon General's report, and he talks about disconnection and loneliness are some of the biggest issues that are facing people in the country. And this is all about healthy relationships. And so as part of this grant, they are required to attend certain national conferences and national ongoing trainings. And the grant provides the financing for them to attend. So it is not wasted taxpayer money. It is not wasted vacation. I don't know what type of trips other people go on with their jobs, but I can tell you, when we go on trips here with the city of Mount Vernon and they are paid for by grantees and government funds, they have you from can't see in the morning till can't see at night. We are not partying and twirling and spinning. We are learning information that we bring back to make differences in our programs. You know, and this is one, and trust me, I was gonna speak on that because, you know, I thank God for the watchdogs. And it's important to have transparency. But, you know, trying to micromanage government and government affairs is not cute either. But this is a grant that is paid for by the funding, by the federal. This is federal funding. The city of Mount Vernon is the only city in the state of New York to get this grant. There were only 16 awards given in the country, and Mount Vernon was one of them. So, you know, and let's celebrate the work that is being done and the resources that are being brought here to our community. Our job is not to sit at a desk 9 to 5 and try and come up with ideas when there are best practices that are being implemented. And we also are presenting at these conferences some of the best practices that we've established. And so, you know, I thank the council and the Board of Estimate for supporting staff development. Because it only allows us to do things more efficiently and effectively here in the city of Mount Vernon. And all organizations do require different levels of training. We just have not been good at doing it for a while. And that's why we are catching up with so many different areas of compliance through every department in the city, because we just were insular and we were not out there getting the information on the best practices. So I don't apologize for us going to what is paid for and what we have budgeted and what is going to bring a benefit to the city of Mount Vernon.
And I think that we should support, I think we've said it before, right, that we will continue to do that. I think that one of the areas that we just have to make sure of, and we have the mechanism in place, right, which is the accountability for those that are on, right? So years ago, there was this past thing about reports coming back. I didn't necessarily think that was the most effective way. As a commissioner then, I didn't think that was the most effective way, because people could just write reports of whatever it is that they went on anyway, and that doesn't necessarily prove it. I think that the more that we can also be able to try to highlight the things that we actually gained from it, like we did with several conferences, right? You went on African Americans conference. Out of that came some grant, right? We need to highlight those things for people to understand that these are the benefits, right, of what it is that we are receiving, right, for it. And things like putting assets to work. We went to the national, right, to the conference, and as a result of that, that's what came. But those are the kinds of things I think we just need to strategize around, so we can.
How we can package and tell the story.
Right, so we can quell some of this around it. I think that it's just important. We know that if the budget, and I know my office, if the budget gets really, really tight, then what we're going to be doing is, talking to the administration and the council about where there are places in which we have to declare that those are not essential. We're not at that place yet. But once we get to that place, we will definitely do that. So I think those are some of the strategies I know that we've been thinking about. I know we've talked about them, but I think that the public, they need to hear it. So I
They
want
need
to
to.
make sure we lay it out.
Right, and you know, I'm excited. I believe last week, Mr. Hamilton, our Associate Controller Hamilton, our DPW Commissioner, our Procurement Director, all went to Harvard University for conversations around procurement and best practices around procurement. And I know they learned a lot. They're going to give us a presentation. You know, I mean, like I said, these are the things we're talking about, how to create new systems and make sure that we are doing things in compliance. And when there are organizations who want to host you or absolutely pay for you to go and participate in these things, they're really, really good. You know, there's a conversation around building department right now. Well, in September, we're going to get a fellow for 2 years from Harvard and Bloomberg, right, to work with us in the building department and not processing applications, but designing and implementing the systems that will make the work more efficient and will bring down different barriers. And so, you know, all government is boring. Government should be boring. But, you know, we're grateful. Our council people, our controller, you know, the executive team, we've all been going to learn better practices and modern practices around how to effectuate more efficient government here in Mount Vernon. And so, again, thank you. Any comment, acting president?
Everything you all said was right on. I think, you know, given the city's fiscal situation, I understand why people are concerned, right? But I think what you both said is true. That first, we need to make sure that staff are trained. We need to make sure that they have the skill sets to actually operate in our current environment. I think when we came on, there were a lot of people doing things how it's always been done, and it hasn't always worked for us, right? So I think that's one major thing. And I think what Comptroller Morton said is true. We need to do a better job of telling our story overall, right? If you look on, I'm probably the one who's gone to the most conferences on city council, but I also am the one who's written the most legislation from scratch, right? And these are things that I go to these conferences and I learn and I bring them back to the city. So I think if we do a better job telling that story, maybe we can alleviate some of the concerns that people have. We can't guarantee that though. So thank you.
Roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
All right, we're moving on. We're still under resolutions approving ordinances. Item number 10, Fire Department. An ordinance authorizing one member of service to attend the Carl Holmes Executive Development Institute, June 3rd through the 7th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
One question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 11, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the Mount Vernon Police Department to collect fees for good conduct certificates.
So moved.
Second.
Question?
Can somebody explain this to me?
good conduct certificates. So, oftentimes when people, are going for different jobs or background clearances, they come to the police department and they have to have their records searched. To show that they don't have a record or whatever has been resolved. And so the police department, it's an administrative fee for the police to be able to do the background research that they need to do and issue the letters, saying that people have good conduct.
Okay,
Got it.
this is another source of revenue,
Huh?
another source of revenue.
Another source of revenue. Small revenue, but you know, it is a service that we do provide. Roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
I know it sounds kind of strange, good conduct certificate, like the police certificate, good conduct. But that's what they're called.
Okay, item number 12, Department of Public Safety.
Clerk Walters, can I move to take items 12, 13, and 14 as a block vote?
Sure. Does anyone have any?
Second.
Okay,
Roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay, so we're taking items number 12 through 14 as a block vote. Item number 12, Department of Public Safety. An ordinance authorizing 2 members of service to attend the DCJS Defensive Tactics Instructor Training, December 2nd through the 13th, 2024. Item number 13, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing 1 member of service to attend the ATF NFA Fire Investigation Essentials class, June 3rd through the 13th, 2024. And item number 14, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing 3 members of service to attend the New York State Mobilization Planning for Critical Missing Person Investigation Training, June 25 through June 26, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay.
Just real quick on 12 through 14, again, with these trainings, we did receive our 5-year reaccreditation of the police department. And I can tell you the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services were one of the first things that they noted was the level of training that our police department is receiving, and that it's just not a few people, but everyone. And that the trainers are coming back, training throughout the department. We've even been asked to come up to the county and provide different trainings for other police departments. And so, you know, we're kind of seeing less claims right now coming in, new claims and better outcomes. And so it is working. So
Excellent.
last items.
Okay, so we're moving on to subheading settlements, item number 15. Settling the claim of Maureen Darcel in the amount of $5,575.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 16, settling the claim of Nicholas Master Giorgio in the sum of $5,275.19.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay, that concludes your agenda items for today, Madam Mayor.
Does anyone have new business?
Well, we are just update against to this body. we are at the final stages of finalizing this, ban for the $15.8 million. So for clarity, a ban is short-term loan. It basically becomes due technically in a year. But we have the ability to roll over the ban up to 5 years. And the reasoning behind actually going out for the ban for this amount, is one, it's a claim technically that the employees have against the city. It's related to the 14% raise increase that was done for the 3 unions, in December. It's retro pay for 18 through 23. We had budgeted approximately about $2.93 million in the present budget for it. But at that rate, of course, it would be a 5-year payout. And in addition to that, if we had to increase that amount to pay it to the employees, then it would impact the tax rate and the taxpayers. This way, it allows us to be able to, one, start paying off on the interest of this until we can convert it from a ban to a bond and extend it all the way out. And that way it would have less of an impact upon the tax rate, even though, of course, we are borrowing for the debt, which is typical in municipal government, right, to do. It's the better approach that has the least amount of impact by us being able to borrow for a longer period of time. What does that require of me? Well, one, requires all of us. It requires us to be good stewards of our finances for going forward, but in particular the next 4 or 5 years, so that this ban doesn't necessarily get called in. 2, it also requires for us to be as aggressive, my office, with the auditors to make sure we get those audits done. The reason why we could not go out for a bond immediately is because we don't have a credit rating, right? And, we lost credit rating back in 19. The good thing is based upon the good stewardship of the finances in the last 3 years, we have found financiers who are willing to take the chance on us to do that. And so it's a good place. It's not the best ideal place for us to be in, but it is something that will allow us to at least be able to get this particular debt kind of out of the way, per se, to the employees at a faster rate, right? Again, this will not be a one-shot kind of, let's pay it out to everybody in one shot. We're going to come up with kind of a schedule on how to do that. That will have the least amount of impact also on the employees from a tax standpoint, from related to their retirement and all of that. But at least it will get the money to them faster than what it did not have a ban. So that closure should be sometime in the next week. And so we'll keep you updated. All right.
Thank you so much, Comptroller. Just wanted to give an update also. I mean, it's a different body than this. It's our urban renewal agency, but it kind of impacts some of our capital needs here in the city of Mount Vernon. We did finalize, we've been working on it for almost a year, right? Section 108?
Yes.
We've been working on the Section 108 program for about a year with the, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It allows a city to designate a maximum of 5 years of its community development block grant funds to creating a revolving loan fund for us to be able to utilize here in the city and utilize our annual CDBG allotments to pay back. So instead of us getting our money once a year for the next 5 years, it allows us to draw down on that money earlier, in larger sums. so that we can get some critical projects going and not just wait over the next 5 years. We did do 3 public hearings for that over a several month period. We heard what people had to say. Of course, community development block grant funds can't be used for everything, but the focus that we have a lot of them for are the firehouses, the armory, the Dole Center, and some infrastructure projects. Since starting this application, we have received $2.7 million from Senator Bailey for the Dole Center. We did receive $1 million from Assemblyman Pretlow for the armory. We're working with Assemblyman Pretlow on some more monies around that. Our Congressman Jamal Bowman has submitted for us to get $7.7 million for the armory. In his congressional allocation lines, that's the top project. So we're looking at that, and as monies come in from different places, that allows us to kind of narrow the focus and the scope of what we'll use the CDBG money for. We know that our firehouses, our municipal buildings, period.
Yeah.
All of them are in bad shape. Fire tends to be a little more challenging because people live, eat, sleep, work, cook there. That is their living environment, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And HUD has a priority when it comes to fire because it's people and property and eliminating blight. And so, really looking to do some work in our firehouses. Do that upgrade work on the Dole Center, secure the envelope of the armory. We have been putting out RFPs and going out for kind of contractor bids on some of this work. So as the approvals come in, we can get to moving and develop stronger relationships with our contractors in getting this work done and coordinated efforts. This will also allow us to kind of look at, we have limited ARPA monies left, but ARPA monies can be used to deal with some of the serious HVAC issues that we do have in the police department. Since HUD money cannot be used for police, it can only be used for fire and other publicly used kind of community buildings. And so we are trying to develop, like we said, that air, land, and sea comprehensive approach to dealing with some of our capital issues here in the city. And I just want to thank all of the departments and our controller and our council for continuing to provide that support so that we could slowly but surely start really checking, not just checking things off our list, but getting the work done to make sure that our staff have the environments that they need to perform the work that they need to perform.
So I'm glad you said it. So to that point, one of the things, 2 things. One, based upon that, we're going to need to move swiftly to make sure we identify what actually is going to be reallocated, refunded, changed in R. Because by the close of this year, we have to obligate it. And it's certainly, an obligation sounds a little crazy, but there's some specific details as to what designates an obligation, right? Which may mean that we may very well have to have an RFP out or bid out and a commitment to a contractor in order for it to be constituted as obligated. So we need to work closely to start moving and getting that and align it too with the budget process that's happening. Because the other thing that I would like for us to do is to also move to an adoption of a capital projects budget. Right? And now would be the right time for us to do this, because if we got Section 108 kind of funding and other stuff, then we can be able to put into that budget what are the sources and usages of that funding.
Absolutely.
But we should start that because ultimately we need to make sure we have both of those kinds of budgets. We have traditionally used the general fund budget for almost everything. And I'm trying to get our accounting staff to kind of move away from that model, especially given all this stuff that's happening with Gatsby and, some of the state regulations now that's happening around things like we now have to track lease subscriptions and and things of that sort. And so we want to make sure we start to kind of line it. And because in the next 2-3 months, we're gonna start to talk about 2025.
Mhm.
Now's the right time for us to kind of
To
plan
do
that.
it. Absolutely. And it just gives more certainty to our leadership team. It gives clarity to the community, because it's not about, oh, let me put up a Facebook post about what's wrong with this building. And then I'm gonna get people to jump on and come and scream about it. And that's how we're gonna get projects done, right? Every building, every city-owned building needs some significant work. And it's not just about who's gonna scream the loudest, who's gonna threaten, who's gonna call News 12. Those are the tactics that have traditionally been used in this city, right? And I understand people have their own needs and their own wants and their own priorities, but it doesn't help the overall city. The reason that we're even able to have band conversations is because government is working. And Mount Vernon honestly doesn't have any more significant or I want to say unique challenges than other communities. We just deal with it in a unique way. We run to the press and we try and integrate everything in the press. But then we say we want solutions. And when we try and go out and get solutions and people Google and see all of this crazy, idiotic, insane, and immature type behavior, and our local media from TV to print picks up on it like it's gossip and not the work of government, it does not help the business of community get done, right? And so we have to be a little more sophisticated. Other cities have challenges and they work through their challenges. We just always feel like somebody is supposed to come out from outside and rescue us as opposed to sitting and doing the work. And so we're sitting and doing the work. It's not about embarrassing or shaming anyone into doing work. We're looking at holistic solutions that are going to be sustainable and not just putting bandages on what continues to bleed. We're really trying to fix it. So I'm all for, like you said, going and doing the whole capital projects and the capital budget because it's transparent. It doesn't move as quickly as people would want it to move. And it doesn't move as quickly, I think, oftentimes as we want it to move. But it is moving forward, finally getting the roof on DPW after 30 years of it raining in the building. I mean, these are things that are getting done slowly but surely. But I guess one of the biggest challenges of finally getting stuff done is when things start getting done, everyone wants to see it all done everywhere all at once. And that's not necessarily realistic, but we are creating a plan and we're going to work the plan. And we'd rather work with the citizens as opposed to against the media to get the work that we need to get done in the city. All right. Do we have
So we issued 17. 18 is pretty much complete draft. We are responding to the management letter items. So anticipation is in the next 2 weeks that will be issued as well, 19. 18. 18. 19, the auditors are on site now this week doing their testing of 19. So as you can see, we are rapidly trying to move this to kind of get this done.
And thank you, because, it's been several years with 16, closing out 16. took 2 years.
Yeah, it took a long time, took a little over a year, yeah,
Huh?
a month, a little over a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, from when you got here, I'm just
But it
saying, when
took
I
2
got
years to
here,
get done.
we got 2
Yeah.
years.
Well, actually,
but-
3 years.
Three.
I think they were doing it in 20.
So, so it's moving at a better clip. Thank you and your team again for getting that work done. Thank you. Any motion to adjourn? That's you.
I know my cue. I know my cue.
All right.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Roll call
Controller Martin,
on the question of adjournment. Yeah. Roll call.
Controller Morton,
aye.
Acting President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 4:00.